Hey there. Hi, everyone. My name's Kristen Cobb. I'm the executive director at Harbison Theater at Midlands Technical College. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. I hope you are all well tonight. I want to welcome you to our Artists in Lockdown show. This has been going on for quite some time, thanks to Steve Love and a lot of great producers out there. Peter with us tonight, putting artists together, connecting us all so we can have some conversations, talk about the arts, talk about live entertainment, how it all makes a huge difference in our world, especially right now. So we've got some great guests tonight to bring to you, and I hope you'll tune in and stay with us for the next 45 minutes because it's going to be a lot of fun. That's what we like to do here, is talk to these guys, have a good time, learn something new, and walk away with a smile on our face. So tonight we have this real handsome guy in Vegas named Joshua Danger. I mean, does it get any more exciting than that, right? And he's got this great beard and this fabulous hair. And he's in Vegas, and not only is he handsome with a good beard, he's really talented. So, hey, welcome, Joshua. Thanks for being here.
Well, Kristen, thank you so much, and I really appreciate that intro. That was fantastic.
You can take me on the road with you when we're back out, right?
I will, please. I need it. That's great.
So
thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I think this is such a great thing to have during these interesting times. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Super great concept again, it's just a great way for us all to be able to talk a little bit in a more conversational style, learn a little bit more about what other artists are doing all over the world. And that's what we've been able to do here with Artists in Lockdown. So I'm so glad you're with us tonight. And we've got the Tenors over in Nashville coming up next. So I hope you'll stick around for them.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is the cool thing that, like, I can't even really explain to you what Josh does. He's going to have to do that for you. He is a creator. He makes interesting sounds with his mouth that makes you think that he's singing with the sounds. Plus, he actually does sing. So I have had some experience with some a cappella groups like the Pitchforks from Duke University. Mm-hmm. A little bit of something like that. But tell us what you do, Josh, and how it all happens. Tell us about the magic.
Okay. It is kind of a strange thing. I guess I was that kid that just drove his parents crazy when he was little, making strange noises. And I just remember my mom always saying, "Why do you always make noises? You're going to drive people crazy." And strangely, I found a way to make a living doing that. So I just tell people I'm a vocal looper, which I think we've got maybe some videos we can show, but it's basically the art of using my own voice and looping it with different patterns. And it's all my voice. It's all vocally created. And here in Vegas, I ended up just kind of stumbling into a lot of interesting and unique ways to do this. So I started creating videos. I had a couple videos that did really well on Facebook, and it just sort of led to all these other interesting avenues, and which we can get into. But if you have the video, it might be fun to show them an example of what I'm talking about. There's this show that I think everybody out there has had to have heard of at one point. It's called Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. That's big.
I found out about it because of what you said, this whole beard and hair thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, you should be in Game of Thrones." Yeah. Weren't you in Game of Thrones? You look like Tormund. And so I found out about the show just because everybody said that I look like one of the characters. Well, I got hooked. And even more so, I just got hooked on the opening theme song. It's probably one of the best and coolest pieces of music I've ever heard. And I found myself singing along with it as I do. And I went, you know what? There's a video concept there. So if you have it, we could show them a little taste of what that is.
Let's take a look, and that'll give everybody a quick snippet of kind of what you're doing and who doesn't love some Game of Thrones. So let's roll the clip and listen to Mr. Josh Danger.
Awesome. It's an all vocal clip.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. It's amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
how do you know? I mean, is there something instinctively that tells you this is what I do to create this sound, or is it just truly playing around with
Yeah,
how it comes out? I mean, what's the process?
the
Or is
process
there a
is very
process?
unique. I know. Well, so apart from singing and just being a weird noisemaker, I'm also a music producer. So I kind of always listen for what's happening in the backgrounds. And my roots as a singer mixed with my music production roots sort of culminated into this idea of what can I do all vocally? And, I use instruments in some of the stuff that I create, but it just led to this sort of exploration of, can I do this vocally? Could I make this vocally? And I found that the answer tends to be yes, I can. So that Game of Thrones thing, it just ended up being more of a challenge to myself. So I put it out there and it ended up going viral in the United Kingdom and like all these bizarre, unexpected places. And it just kind of got me thinking, there's something here. So from that one, I just started creating more and more just interesting, unique content. So it was just sort of a exploration, I guess.
Now, have you seen some of these a cappella groups that do all the bass lines and all of that stuff? Was that any sort of inspiration for you?
Yes, in fact, a cappella is a huge inspiration for me. And funny enough, I think there may be a future interview with one of my groups. It's an a cappella group called Mosaic, and it's a 5-guy a cappella group that is a huge piece of what I do. So that is definitely a giant component to my approach to music and just vocal exploration in general. I've just always been fascinated by that. So
tell me what you've been doing for the last 12 months. Are we in the studio?
Yeah.
Are we producing? I know we obviously doing some online content, but tell me what it's looked like for you as we've navigated this tough pandemic time.
Well, this pandemic has been seen. I think the first instinct is to see this thing as this very horrible, terrible thing. And I agree, there's a lot about this that's been very awful, and people have had some bad experiences and loss of life and loss of loved ones. But there's also this other side to it where we've all been given this gift of just some time to sit down and think and focus and recalibrate and go, what should I do? So being the producer mind that I am, one of the things that I had really taken a strong interest in is the trio, the way that 3 voices can blend together. I've always been a huge fan of just tight triad blend. Mm-hmm. And so it actually kind of segues into the Nashville Tenors. This is a group that has been around for about a year. The getting it together process has been closer to about 2 years. But during this pandemic, I basically produced and brought to life a new project. And it's called the Nashville Tenors. And I think they're around here somewhere. Do we have them?
Whoa! It's a party now.
And there they are, fellas. What's up?
Hey.
They're all cute too. I mean, I got a handsome bunch in this room tonight. I mean, too bad we're all so far away.
I know, right? So these guys, yes, these guys have become like my brothers, so to speak. The guy in the center is Paul. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
The guy with the beard is Brandon, and the guy with the hat is John. And we have been doing a whole lot of this kind of interaction through screens because they're in Nashville, I'm in Vegas. But this has been a really cool project that is definitely pandemic related. With the free time, with the downtime that we had, I had reached out to Paul and I told him about this project that I had started, and it just very organically led to this trio that we see right there.
Well, how did y'all meet? Had y'all met some other place prior?
Yeah, actually, Josh and I met years ago. I spent some time in Vegas doing some other work, and Josh and I met in about 2012 and have been friends since. John and I met years ago, and our paths in the entertainment industry crossed. And then these two knew each other, entertainment-wise. Yeah. And so, just kind of all synergistically came together.
It truly did. Oh, what was that?
Voices would gel.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with Paul and I, like with us having history and singing together, we knew that we had that chemistry and we knew that we could blend well. And Brandon and I, we had done some work together, and you get kind of a vibe when you work with singers and artists, and you're like, I know that we'll lock together as well.
Yeah.
I remember when I met John, I was actually bartending and he came in and was sitting by himself. I met him a few different times, and finally I was like, what do you do? And he sent me his Instagram, and a lot of times people send you music and you're like, oh, this is going to be terrible. I don't know. I remember like getting home, pulling it up and being like, holy cow. And I just like knew immediately that we had to work together.
Yeah.
That's great. That's nice. It's nice when the all the serendipitous stuff happens, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, totally. This just the way that this project, I think it's kind of a perfect fit for the show, because you're talking about artists on lockdown, and that's exactly what's happened. And to know that creativity can be birthed from these types of adversities. So I look at those three guys and I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish during lockdown. We've had, a couple little live things here and there, but a big focus of what we've been doing has been online content. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we might have a video or two in the chamber that we could show what these three lovely fellas actually sound like. I'm thinking we should do that slow ballad that everybody's going to know, Hallelujah. Do we have that one?
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to play some of that and just show the audience what these three are all about.
Yeah, their voices are amazing. I listened just a minute ago. So yeah, let's roll it.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
So
Yes,
beautiful.
Paul.
I had to mute myself because I was going to try to sing along, and I think they would get upset if I was humming in the background. Great. I mean, chemistry, obviously, and the intonations of your voices. I mean, really, really solid.
It's one of the best and most immediate blends I've ever experienced. I mean, I think they knew and I knew right away that we had stumbled onto some magic, because just the way that those inner parts all lock, that doesn't always happen. I mean, I've produced a lot of different acts and a lot of different shows, but those three, yeah, love it. Like butter.
Butter, baby, butter.
And by the way, if anybody wants to see the full version of that, they can go to the YouTube page, which is the Nashville Tenors. And you can see the rest of that, because that has some really just beautiful moments with the three of them. So anybody out there watching, go check it out. The Nashville Tenors on YouTube.
Well, and y'all, both obviously, y'all all have some social media presence where we can send everybody. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. You can basically, we got all the Nashville Tenors. You got to put in the, but you can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube, the Nashville Tenors. And then prior, if you want to find any of my stuff, it's the Joshua Danger. Got to use the, and that's the same. It's for, the. There's only one, the. So you can find that on Instagram, YouTube, all those as well. But what's cool about the Nashville Tenors, I'm going to brag on you guys for a second, is that all three of them can sing their faces off as a lead singer, but then they have the intelligence as vocalists to also know how to blend to each other. And a lot of vocal groups, they'll have one lead singer and then background singers.
Right.
And that's just not the case with this group. At any point, any one of them can take lead, and it's going to be an amazing experience. Which then leads to, I think we should show a clip that's going to feature John in the hat. This is a mashup of one of my favorite songs. We've got some old school Johnny Cash mixed with some new school Adele. This is called the Burning Ring of Fire mashup, if we have that.
Oh, cool.
I think we should.
I didn't get to see this one.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
watch it
look a
with
little
you.
of this.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. Come on! There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. Burning. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your ship bare. See how I leave every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire.
I love
John, that run that you just oh, I can't stand you.
Good fun.
it. That's
That
great
that was a
stuff.
fun
That's good.
that was a fun process. And guys, you could kind of talk a little bit about this. I've actually flew to Nashville to make that video, and we had kind of said it'd be a little peek behind the curtain just to sort of show the process of how we go about making the music. So I just remember being in the studio environment. When did we do that? How long ago was that? I don't even know. It all blends together.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I let's say 6 months. And kind of like that process was so much fun. And going back a little bit, just talking about knowing when voices are going to sound well together. To sing really with people that you feel like are your brothers and your flesh and blood, and work with people like Josh, and there's like this incredible, gifted, talented group of people that you love. So it makes processes like that recording so much fun because we had a blast.
Yeah.
We just were able to go in the studio and record, and it was just a good old time.
It was actually the first time I got to meet Josh was when we did that video.
That's right.
Yeah, in person. We've been friends via FaceTime
Yeah.
for a long time now. but, yeah.
Did y'all compare beards? Y'all both have good.
Oh, I know. We've both trimmed the beard since those days.
Oh, I missed the big beard. Oh no.
Here.
Yeah, I think he had like forest creatures in his beard. It was a giant beard. He could like tuck it into his shirt, you know.
I love it. I love
No,
it.
it was good. But that's true, Brandon. I forget about that because Brandon and I met electronically. It sounds like a dating app or something. Sorry, man. But we met electronically just through Zoom and FaceTime and all this. So the first time we ever actually got to like hug it out was on the set for that video. And I think it just kind of all ties back to the central theme of just artists being in a lockdown situation are still going to figure out a way to come out on top somehow, some way, you know, just to tap into that creativity and find like-minded people and just make something happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just this process and the show itself that we've been putting together for the Nashville Tenors, it's just a really cool experience. It's going to be that kind of show that caters to all ages. I kind of say from 5 to 95. Now, in saying that, I mean, guys, you could kind of talk a little bit about sort of the inspirations and influences that you draw from as individuals and the way that ties in to the show experience. If you guys want to talk about that.
You know, we've all been in Nashville for a long time, in and out. I was here for about 23 years the first go around, and then I moved to Vegas for a few, and then I'm back. And these guys have been here working for a number of years. And the circles that you run in, I think when people think about Nashville, if you're not from Nashville, and certainly if you're not really a music person, you just automatically think that Nashville's just country music. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. And the moment you spend any kind of time here, you realize how many different influences there are in this town, and how many amazing musicians in all genres are in this town. And I think that we all grew up with different genres, whether it was soul, old soul, new soul, pop, country. For me, I've always loved the classics, the standards, and so I think we all come from such eclectic and different musical backgrounds. And Nashville, to end up here in Nashville is almost perfect in the fact that all of a sudden you have all of these things that you've learned and that you've soaked up all your growing up years, and then you come to this town where it all just gets slapped into one big old sandwich, and it's man,
Boy,
it's
good.
it does, it tastes great, and and it's amazing. And of the three of us, Brandon is the guy who's really Brandon spends a lot of time out. Brandon is of the three of us the real songwriter of the group, and spends a lot of time kind of in that circle here in Nashville. And we've all seen that and experienced that, but to go out and see not only a great country song, but a great pop song, a great soul tune, a great R&B tune, a great rock tune. This is the place to be if you're a musician.
Yeah. And the show will reflect that. It'll
Yeah.
be this kind of melting pot of what we grew up, what our influences were, but now you have like artists like Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake who are doing duets together, and it's this crossover country, soul, pop, and that's going to be probably a pretty big vein that goes through the whole show.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience for me too, because prior to putting this group together, I had not been to Nashville much. I'd gone there just for random corporate shows and whatnot, but learning about Nashville and the eclectic styles that are in Nashville was very exciting for me. So that's something that people can definitely expect in a TNT show. Just lots of music from lots of different artists with this fantastic, just powerhouse trio sound. And that's what gets me most excited. I've always loved the way the human voice can just blend and do crazy things that no other instrument can do.
Well, you have to have a little talent too. So I think all of you have a little bit of that too. So
just a smidge. This is kind of a little change of topic, but one of the things I've had to do as an artist here in Vegas, since I don't have other immediate vocalists near me that I can sing with, I stumbled onto an idea of just literally singing with myself. I'm curious if you have a clip of Just the Way You Are. Is that handy? Because this one was a lot of fun for me, just dabbling in video production magic. If we have it, let's take a look.
This one all alone, huh? Oh, yeah.
Tell me.
Clearly.
Check. Oh, when you smile. Oh, her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh yes I do. Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't believe me. It's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? Here is what I say. When I see your face.
So a lot of that.
Yes, I love it. Well, again, speaking to what you discussed earlier in this concept of artists on lockdown, and when you're by yourself, you go.
That's the safest way to go. So I knew I was all right. So as long as there's nobody else in here, I guess we can do what we want.
That's right. How fun! The staging of that was really cool as well.
That's also just sort of a testament to learning new skills and new tricks. I'm kind of a video guy. I like making, short projects and whatnot, but that was fun for me to figure out how to do that, like how to technically pull that off. So again, just one of the benefits of having a little extra time on your hands. But
so let's just shift gears for a minute. Although, is there, I don't think we've given you guys over there in the Nashville Tenors. Is there anything on y'all's background you think it would be good for our audience to know about tonight? I know we've discussed how y'all kind of come together, but anything specifically and how you got to this place in your life now, or kind of what the goals are? Because I think that's what I want to talk about next is, where are we headed? Are we about to talk about some live shows again? Can we get you guys out here? You want to come to Columbia? What's going to happen? But I'd be interested just to hear a little bit about, y'all's backgrounds in terms of what you're doing on your day to, what's a day in the life of the Nashville Tenors and Joshua Danger? Let's hear it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Well, you said come to Columbia. I was like, well, hell yeah, we do. Sorry, we're live. I apologize.
There ain't no cutting that out.
Yeah, but, yeah, we want to do it all. Honestly, we want to get out. We are just like every other artist. We miss our audience. We miss singing and telling stories and having that relationship with our audience. So I'm just trying to think about like kind of your question. I think one of the things as far as like background goes, and I don't know if this even answers your question, but we all love gospel music, and that's another like huge vein that runs through the city, and that's something that we love to do together. And I don't know, do you think that answers part of that question?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So many things that we've done and professionally and been through that's gotten us to this point.
Yeah, I think we've all been influenced by that stuff growing up, where we're all from, and I think too. I think that that ultimately it does kind of lead you to Nashville, because the vein does run through there, run through here so deep. And I moved here to go to college, and basically I was in college, and about 19, I started singing professionally here in town, and doing as many things as I could. And whether that was singing live, I was working at Opryland for years. I worked at the General Jackson. John worked on the General Jackson for some years, which is the showboat that the Opryland Hotel runs behind the hotel. And then also, I was doing lots of demos for gospel, for country, for different things. And another huge part of my income for a lot of years, I sang on lots of gospel choral sessions. A lot of people don't know, but most of the time, if they go to church and they are listening to the choir, more than likely that music was written here in town, and that demo for that music was sung right here in the town. And probably between the mid '90s and the mid 2000s, there's a good chance that my voice was on something that you probably heard, in one of those background choral sections. And so I think that we all kind of, had our own paths, performing wise. And
I mean, that's where I started playing, was in church.
I was going to say, did y'all all sing in church? Did you grow up singing in church?
Yeah, definitely.
Same here.
Big a lot of my friends I've met here in town too. People who I like really look up to as musicians and vocalists. It almost seems like everyone's come from some form of that, background. It's incredible. It really is.
Well, there's no better place to learn 4-part harmony than singing a hymn growing up.
Yeah.
Even when those old people around you are bad, they're still singing that alto, and you do soak up some of that.
Betsy's singing next to me, you know?
I presented Thelma Houston the season before, everything got locked down. I'm sure y'all know Thelma. She was, the big Motown legend that sang, Don't Leave, what was it? Baby, my heart is full of love and desire for you. Okay. Anyway, I picked her up at the airport. And so I like to pick up all my performers because I just think it's more personal than sending a car. And anyway, the point of this story is we drank some martinis in the hotel lobby, and she talked about her background and growing up singing in the church. And that's the only way Aretha Franklin had that same trajectory. She and Aretha ended up friends, and all of, and she told some of the greatest stories. She had just been at a party with Smokey Robinson and all of this, but so much fundamentally came out of learning to sing in a church. And she said, and I was like 3 years old and you got up and you sang, it also gave her that confidence to get up in front of people and be, sure of yourself. So it is fascinating. So
it's true. And the moment that, if you grow up in church, in the moment that you show any kind of affinity for being able to carry it,
right.
They're like, here you go. They put you up there.
That's what she said. Oh, you can sing. Get on. Go.
Oh, I can relate to that. My dad is a pastor. He just retired, but he was a pastor for 35, 40 years. And that's the same story with me. It's like we kind of all share this in common with the four of us, that we just kind of cut our teeth singing up on church stages and do a show, do a special, do a thing. And so that definitely had to have had some sort of effect on what's happening now.
Yeah.
You know?
It was good or traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did something to us. Yeah. But as far as the future goes, like, where is this heading? Where's the Nashville Tenors heading? It's a headliner act. It's definitely a headliner show where you come to a TNT show and you're going to be entertained in many ways. There's going to be those big emotional ballads that you just feel right here in your chest. But then there's going to be some laughs. There's some comedy involved. There's just some in your face singing. And then, as they said, some gospel and some funk and some soul. And so it doesn't just stay in the genre of country. It's definitely going to have that country flavor, but this is the kind of show that whether you're a fan of country or not, there's going to be something for you in the Nashville Tenors show. And it's going to be that kind of a thing where don't be surprised if you end up singing along, because it's just going to be a lot of really good music that you can relate to, done in our own, TNT way. We kind of put our own little flavor on it. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to actually get this out there.
As someone that, is trying to figure out what I'm doing, I'm hopeful for the fall. We're at a half capacity situation here in South Carolina on our theaters. But I'm hoping in the fall to program my larger touring shows again, but I need the theater to be at full capacity to do that. So I'm looking at like a September go date at this point. What are y'all hearing?
Well, I can tell you that I have very intimate knowledge of some of that because I work for BMI, Music Incorporated here in town, and a huge part of my job is to find out about places that are open, places that are closed, how they're using music, when they're opening, what their percentages are right now. And I can tell you, it's starting to trickle, whether it's a theater, whether it's a venue, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a bar, it's trickling. The percentages are going up, and people are getting excited. People are getting more comfortable. The more people that are getting vaccinated, I think the more confidence that owners are having, that concert goers are having, and people that just Brandon sees it a lot in kind of that songwriter bar world. The numbers are going up. I was just there with him the other night, and other than a few masks and sensible spacing, you wouldn't know that anything was necessarily going on, and it hasn't been like that long, but it's starting to happen, and I think that once that ball gets rolling here in the next few months, I think we're really going to start to see some real gathering confidence. And at least I'm definitely holding out hope and believing that we're on the sooner rather than the later side of things.
Yeah. I also work in a
I'm
restaurant.
noticing that in Vegas as well, which is good. So
Yeah.
I work in a restaurant, and just the last month since the vaccines have been, especially in Nashville, I think we're at like 30 or 35% vaccinated in town now. But it's just seeing the older crowd starting to come out, and they're not worried about it. They're willing to sit inside, and just seeing that just gives me so much hope that it's coming very soon. Yeah.
Get out there, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah. We're seeing it here too, especially like you said in the rest. I've got a lot of friends in the restaurant industry, and I don't cook, so I eat out a lot. And they're ready to. I mean, there was an hour and a half wait in the little town I live in on the outside of Columbia, and I mean, you couldn't get in any restaurant downtown on Saturday night. I'm like, what is going on? This is why I live here, so I don't have to wait an hour to eat. But I mean, everybody was out, so. We're masking here. We're doing half protocol indoors. We did just host a jazz concert and the ballet, and we've got something else coming up. But people are eager. I had a gentleman come up to me in the lobby after the ballet. We did Cinderella with our professional ballet company here in town. I've been trying to support some of the other local artists, and I mean, he was 70-ish, tears running down his face. I mean, it's Cinderella. I mean, I was looking at all the cute little kids dressed in their Cinderella costume stuff. This gentleman said, I needed this so much. He said, I grew up around the arts. I just needed to see people. I needed to see this magical dance. And this company is phenomenal. But I mean, just thanking me profusely and saying it had just made his, whole year to finally get to see some live performers again. So
yeah. And I think when it comes, I think when it does come back, it's going to be so refreshing just for humanity to be able to go out and see entertainment again and to experience the energy of a live show. We've obviously been without for almost over a year now. And that's why I think this particular group, the Nashville Tenors, is perfectly positioned to kind of get this ball rolling. I think even right there in Nashville to just sort of be able to do some small little pop outs here and there. But, as for the future, can't wait to get this group out there to the rest of the world and show them what they can do. Because I know personally they can sing their faces off, and I'm excited for the rest of the world to know that as well. And, this might be a good segue to kind of tie it all in. Just, the country, we've gone through a lot. It's been a really crazy time in the world. It's a crazy time in America, but it does go to show that, you can come together through things like music, and there's a commonality and there's a bond that I think it just ties you all together, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your backstory and your beliefs and your thoughts. There's just something that unifies everybody through song. And even more specifically, the way that the human voice can just blend. And I think this would be a good opportunity to show one last video of the Nashville Tenors singing our national anthem. I think we have that queued up, and I think it'd be okay if we just go ahead and play this whole thing. And it might be just a good positive note to sort of kick this thing out.
Yeah, let's play that. We'll come back for some closing thoughts.
Yeah, we'll come back afterwards. Yep.
Thanks. All right, Peter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad stripes by stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaim the bombs burn star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the
Bravo.
Oh, you boys.
bravo.
You boys.
Stunning. Stunning.
Love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you say? I mean, maybe nothing, right? Maybe we're just supposed to leave it at that. So
Well,
impressive.
The Nashville Tenors, Joshua Danger. If you have any questions about either product, you can find us on Facebook. So it's the Nashville Tenors on Facebook or Instagram. Those are probably the easiest. Or the Joshua Danger Facebook, Instagram. You got to put in the for both. The Nashville Tenors, the Joshua Danger. But yeah, just looking forward to getting back out there and doing some singing. And as you can hear, these guys are the real deal. So.
Any thoughts from you guys before we wrap up?
We just want to say,
Brandon, John.
Yeah.
we want to say thank you. We're looking forward to getting out there.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to standing in front of you with real mics and our real voices and our live faces and
Not our avatars.
Yes, and really doing something again and making life getting life back to normal as possible. So.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys have been a super treat. It was my pleasure to meet you all. We'll definitely stay in touch. I'll thank Peter for the production end of things. Of course, our good friend Steve Love, who's made a lot of this stuff happen. You are all joys. You are all full of talent and beauty. And I wish you all the best. And yeah, maybe we'll get you in here in South Carolina in the next few months. So y'all know how to find me too. So everybody follow Artists on Lockdown on Facebook as well. They'll keep up with all the other entertainers that we'll be talking to coming up. It's my pleasure, again, to host this show and to be with these phenomenal folks as we work together and unite to continue to bring the arts and the beauty and the magic of what makes it all worth doing, right? I mean, that's
right.
kind of like you said, it's like, I know I came into this business because I knew what the power of connectivity through the arts was all about. And it's things like this conversation we just had and that gentleman in the lobby with his tears running down his face saying thank you. So, hey, thank you for watching. Thank you all for being here. And we're going to have some fun soon. Watch out, 21, 22. We're coming for you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.